Welcome everyone to Banana Bread Trades. My name is Goose, and again, we're back with a little bit of a review of Friday and today's trades. Today is Monday. And then we're going to also look forward and see what our next trade plan, because this trade plan has all but played out, at least for the most part. We're about midway through, and we have some things to discuss here. So Thursday, we talked about our plan being if we broke above 51.50, we would catch the retest long. And then we didn't want to trade in between 51.50 and 50.40. That was kind of the icky range that we more or less were going to wait and play the breakout of either side of that range. And whereas Friday, we broke out to the top side of that range, and we tried along on Friday, but it really just didn't get anywhere. We got a few points. I'll show my trades here in a second. But it made some attempts at being a push, but just really didn't get very far above 51.50. I think we got our trade from 51.50 to like 51.61. So not a huge trade. And then today, or at least Sunday night, we opened with a little bit of a gap up, came down, tested 51.50, 51.55 area, consolidated there for a little bit, and then real late at night in the London session, it finally caught the long and then, uptrended the rest of the day. Now, for me, I tried the long on Friday, and we only got like 10 points or so out of it. And then Sunday night, I didn't set any limit orders. I really figured that we would get that 51.55 test with it being so important. I figured we would get that in regular trading hours. So I wasn't too keen on getting, an overnight position. And I really thought we would just kind of consolidate there and then move in RTH. But I was wrong. London session, we tested that level and then we really took off, which made for a very difficult regular trading hour session because we were already pretty deep in the trend. I mean, if you longed open today on ES, you longed the bottom of day, the low of day, I guess. And that is one of the hardest uptrend days to trade because there's just not a lot of opportunity. And the only opportunity we had today was at 51.85, 51.80 level. And we broke up, we went and hit that and tested that level, and we consolidated there for a little bit. And then I tweeted, you can check my Twitter as well. I went through my trade today as well. Since we had missed that first initial move, the next thing to do was try to catch a continuation long. And when we broke above that 51.80 level, we needed to see sellers try to break below that level after we broke above. And we sat patient for a little bit. Buyers tried to go a little bit, never really went for anywhere. And then finally, sellers hit pretty hard. And they tried really hard to get below 51.80. They failed. And as soon as they failed and, all those buyers kicked back in when we reclaimed 51.80, that's when we got long. And we caught about, I'd say close to about 20 points on about half of our position. We took off a majority of our position at about 10 points. Price was very, very slow today. And we wanted to just ensure that we weren't sitting with too much risk too long, especially when price really wasn't going anywhere. So we ensured that we got paid, and then we took off about half at around 51.90-ish. I'll show my trade on that here in a second as well. Took off most of our trade around 51.90, and then, took off the rest around 5,200. And then we held a lotto runner for end of day, but honestly, close to the end of day came. I was playing around on my platform. I accidentally closed out of the position. And then honestly, I really wasn't bummed about it because I think I was probably going to close out of that position anyway. We weren't going anywhere. It was getting really close to the late in the end of the day. I was like, let's just secure our points, be happy with 20 points on the day, and we'll look for our next play. And that's really what we did. So let's peep over at our trades real quick. So here was Friday. Like I said, we waited for 51.50 to kind of get taken over. We had news right in the morning, so all of this we really weren't too concerned about because these were a bunch of data releases. We waited for price to kind of stabilize, came up, got above 51.50. Price tried to sell really hard right here and then reclaimed quickly. So we got long, and then we actually tried adding to our long, and I'm not really a huge fan of this ad in hindsight. In the moment, I was like, all right, we're really going to take off. But like I said, this just wasn't, I would have rather longed a better setup, I think, or added to a better setup. But yeah, that's what we got. We got a few points out of it. Our second entry ended up getting break even. But as you can see, price just really didn't go anywhere. It didn't go to our target. We just kind of closed within, the day's range. And then come to today, Monday, as you can see, we didn't long the overnight low at 55 where we should have, or at least where that long really took place. And which made, like I said, for today, very difficult because price never really gave us a great pullback. So what we waited for, I mean, we didn't get a trade for the first 2 hours today. So we waited for price to try to break above and then, see if sellers took any chance at breaking 5180, which they did. And then we got long on the reclamation of that level. That's another really important thing, especially when we're trending, is make sure a level is reclaimed, not just buying the level just to buy the level. You need to make sure, there's real action there. Especially with ES, you can get in with pretty tight risk. So that's what we're able to do. Like I said, I took off about half at about 10 points. And that was really just to, lock in some profit and protect our position because price was pretty slow. And then took off the rest around our target of 5,200. And then, like I said, kind of chopped around a little bit more. I accidentally closed out my position. I wasn't even upset about it. I had a break even set, but like I said, we got out right there. That's fine. We ended up turbo bidding a little bit right at close, but since it was just a lotto runner, it's not like we missed out on a lot of points. So overall, very happy with today and being able to squeeze something out of a continuation long instead of the actual long to get 20 points out of that. I'm very happy with myself and my patience and, being able to play with that one. So now let's look forward to what is going to happen now. So we talked about we break above 5150 and then that's pretty bullish. We're probably looking at a test of at least all-time, or not at least all-time highs, but we're looking at, bulls trying to make an attempt at all-time highs. And because we broke out of this, really intense consolidation range, we got our first level of 5185. And as you can see here on the left, we closed right in the middle of this really high volume node, which I think is very important. I think distinguishes our next range. I would expect overnight price to really consolidate between 5220 and 5180. That long we caught today was at 5180. So between that 40-point range right there, that's kind of where I expect us to be overnight and maybe all of tomorrow, and then finally break out one way or the other. My plan for tomorrow, I think, is going to be to long or take longs around 5180, the bottom of this perceived range, and then try to catch those longs all the way up to 52.54. I don't know if we get there tomorrow. I mean, that's a pretty good chug, especially if we're going to be in a really low volume environment. But that's my plan, at least under 51.83. Probably stay flat and see what happens at 51.50. I may take a stab at 51.50 if, they make a real good attempt at it in support. But after Sunday night's support there at 51.50, I think it's very clear, and today's really low volume uptrend day, I think it's really clear that we're probably bullish. Now, this is a very important spot because if you look at the swing profile, we are at the golden zone for the fib to the downside. So above, if we do get to 52.54, I mean, it's probably a really good chance that we do go attack all-time highs. But it's just a little bit of caution here because, again, this is a potential swing short zone. I don't really put too much value in the swing fib, but just to know that it is there. This is the 65% pullback zone. So above that, it completely discredits the fact that we would be in a downtrend, which I really don't think we are. I think 51.50 was the level that needed to hold for this to be a really adequate downtrend. We broke above, and then the plan still stays the same above 51.50. We're in uptrend mode. So yeah, we'll look at some longs at around 51.80 overnight and maybe tomorrow during regular trading hours. And below that, we're just definitely going to sit flat and see what happens at 51.80 or 51.50. And then our long target is still going to be, like I said, as we had from Friday. I mean, that plan is still intact. We're targeting 52.54. That is our overall long target. But to catch these continuation longs, we're going to have to wait for a really good level. At least have some low risk here because this is a pretty gnarly uptrend. So yeah, that's the plan for now. And we might not get it. It might just chug right along without us, and that's okay. You don't want to catch things that you're not looking for. I mean, if price wants to go ahead and keep going, that is completely okay. That's on us for not swinging this long, but I don't like swinging overnight. I don't like swinging over weekends. So we'll just play what's given to us. And for now, yeah, 52.20 to 51.80, that's our range. And we're going to be playing the bottom of that range, looking for a breakout to 52.54. So thank you guys. Let me reorganize my chart real quick. I'll put a link down below, and that will be our plan coming into tomorrow, which will be Tuesday. So yeah, thank you guys very much. Stay safe, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.